The most important thing for people to do right now is to pause. Take a look. Wow. That is weird. We are in the middle of the woods and there is a siren. So maybe that's it. Red alert. Emergency. Oh, and we have a crow now confirming too. Okay, so we're right on the money right now. We need to pause. We need to take an inventory of where we're at. Step back to get a more objective viewpoint of what is happening. To notice things that may be going on behind the scenes that we are not even aware of, because we're so fixated on the thing that is just pounding on our door. When that's happening, if someone is just beating on your door and it's like drawing all your attention to that door, a smart thing to do, obviously, would not be to go straight to answer it, but would be to go look out a window from a different location and see what is actually waiting outside that door for you. Who's waiting outside that door for you? And is there more going on than you expect so that you can prepare? Hi, and welcome back. It's September the 24th, 2025. Absolutely beautiful day today again. What I'm noticing on social media that I haven't maybe not been really paying attention to, or no clue why it's coming up right now, I guess maybe because it's just flooding all the feeds, is this idea of rapture. And you would think that I would have searched it a little bit more, considering my awakening included dreams and messages about being the seventh trumpet, and then having the experiences that seem to tie into that same message over and over and over. And instead, my focus has been on supporting people and sharing the lessons that I've learned, to disengage and disentangle myself from a mind narrative, one that is controlling you through the things that you're regurgitating from lessons you've learned that don't necessarily serve you. They don't come from a soulful place. And so it's interesting that these days that have been identified, so I think it was the 22nd to the 24th, that many people were prophesizing that this is when the second coming, so that people would experience that elevation and that the non-believers would be left behind. And that was the sense of rapture that I keep seeing people talk about. And I also see, which I love opposing viewpoints, because I think that that is critical, that we need to have the opportunity to be able to express our thoughts and feelings without diminishing another, so that we can have a more informed viewpoint, right? A perspective. And so the explanation of so many that this idea of rapture and people getting rid of so many of their belongings and their things and just releasing everything in a state of fear, in a state of panic and concern and worry that when this happens, they must be ready. They must release everything that they have accumulated and become, and to be available for this elevation. And I find that very concerning. on so many levels. The first of which is that the world is already stressful enough. There's already enough things happening to create a sense of anxiety and duress, and so many different organizations and structures, which we've talked about, the Matrix, certain religious organizations that are very heavy-handed, very limiting. There's so many things happening that we don't need to add anything more. And so my thoughts on this are, and have been this whole time, absolutely, gain awareness, have that connection, that soulful connection. Notice divinity that is all around you in every creation. Notice it. Pray, meditate, focus inward, do whatever it is that helps to make you feel grounded and safe and connected. Do those things. So if something happens or doesn't happen, you know that internally you're going to be okay. Because you came here okay. Your soul source is unchangeable. It continues to seek your survival and support it in any way possible, and to elevate you where it can. So allow it. Don't rush to jump on some bandwagon of fear, because it's very easy to do, to get caught up in that, and there's no shame in that. And if that's something that someone is doing, just pause. Just pause. You can keep doing it, but just take a moment to just assess, what are the likely outcomes from my behavior? Where am I getting my information from that's telling me that this thing is happening? And why do I believe it? If I were to not do all of these things that I've been told to do in order to be saved, what would happen then? What would be the worst case? Is it something that makes me feel good, elevates me, and makes me feel happy to do? Or am I doing this thing with the expectation that then I'll be happy? Because as we know about energy, you have to match the thing you want. So if you are acting out of fear and desperation and old programming, that is the frequency that you're calling in. If you are acting from a place of feeling very content and at peace and joyful, that is what you will call in. You don't need to be saved. There was never anything wrong with you. There's no redemption needed. None. Because if you were created from a source, that's like saying that that source needs to redeem itself and heal itself and fix itself. Because you're a piece of it. And if you think that you need to be healed and fixed and redeemed and saved, what you're saying then is, so does source. And I don't think anyone thinks that. I've spoken about this before in my other videos, gatekeeping God, and do you believe in God, and some other videos as well, right from the very beginning. And my utmost respect to those who have deep faith and belief in something, and that they are following this calling and this pull. I have huge respect. What I don't have respect for is any structure or organization or system, social system, any system, that uses that deep faith for their own benefit and not the benefit of the person who is trusting, giving over their life to someone who believes, wants to believe, is open and genuinely looking for that connection, that deep, soulful, divine connection with a higher source. I not only have no respect for organizations, structures, people that behave in that insidious, predatory, manipulative manner. I feel deeply called to speak against it. And it's interesting that all of the messages that I received from very early on, and I know I have repeated this, but I believe in angels. I believe in a higher source. I believe that the Bible is a story to teach others. And I also believe that every story is subject to interpretation based on a person's position and their power. And that in our framework, patriarchal, capitalistic framework, the interpretation of works such as the Bible become weaponized to remove power in the name of saving, protecting, glorifying, and ultimately connecting with a higher source. And what does that do? When someone shares that kind of information and then tells you, by way of imposing thoughts and beliefs and repeat them over and over, berating people with this information that they need a middleman between themselves and reaching this higher source. The source which created them. And they intrinsically put themselves in the position of an interpreter. Well, if you don't understand what an interpreter does, An interpreter hears something and then shares it with you in a way that you will understand it. Interpreters are human. They're running everything they hear through their own filtration system and then passing it along to you. And while the language that's being shared, so say someone is speaking French and the interpreter is hearing it and then they're passing it on to you as English. There's many words that have different meanings based on inflection, based on the region from where it is being spoken, where the person who is interpreting is then filtering it and sharing it. So having a middleman in this construct of religion or spirituality or any system that then tells you what they want you to know, instead of you just hearing directly from source and making that decision yourself. And I believe that's what Christ consciousness is the awareness that you don't need the middleman, you don't need the interpreter. That you get to make up your own mind of what you're hearing and what it means for you. So trust in your own divine connection to source. You don't need someone to tell you what to think, how to feel, what to do, how to behave. Believe and have faith that you know this for yourself and that you are a part of that creator, that source. Whatever name that you connect with, that you choose to call it. And let go of the fear. You do not need to be saved. Until next time, everyone, stay safe and stay connected, and we'll see you really soon. Bye.